Welcome to a keynote conversation with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, award-winning rapper, entrepreneur, actor, producer. I'm Andrew Wallenstein. I'm none of those things, but I am president and chief media analyst for Variety Intelligence Platform, and I'm excited to explore 50's empire. In 2020, 50 Cent received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, won the NAACP Directing Award for his Starz series Power, published the book Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, and is set for a second season of his ABC series This Life. He's also invested in a number of brands such as Casper Mattress and Sire Spirits. Thanks for making time today, 50. Let's start with Power. You've got the Book 2 spinoff starting in September, and even more of that coming in the future. How do you turn a single show into this entire franchise?
Oh man, it's great. The Starz Network, it's one thing to have a hit show, another to have a hit show when the network's in a growing phase. And I just was lucky enough to have it in the time period that I had it in. So Starz is extremely invested in the idea of the Power series because of how much growth the entire network has had during the success of the show. So, I think if to the other networks, they have a hit show on ABC at the present moment. And even in having the show that's number one in that time slot, it doesn't mean the same thing that Power means to Starz, in premium. So just saying, because there's other hit shows and other time slots at ABC already, Disney money connected to it. And then you look at Starz as a separate, vehicle, they're seeing huge growth. Like right now, Starz making up about 80% of Lionsgate's profits. So
wow.
you see this and the dynamics of how much is coming from it. And, me creatively being invested in Power initially, I was being paid $17,000 per episode. And I didn't mind. This is with me being executive producer behind the scenes and playing a reoccurring character and just being available for the show, period. Like they would give me $25,000 just to go to nightclubs and wait. So
you've come a long way since then. And so I'm curious, if I could ask, what do you think is the secret to Starz' success with Power? Why did this show resonate in a way where now you've got 5 of these things coming?
Right. It's being willing to be diverse, to take the shot at that point. And the diversity of the show, like allowing New York City to be a character in the program, was very important. And you can't find a place more diverse than New York. It's people on top of people. That's why even when the pandemic comes, we hit the hardest first because there's so many people so close to each other. And look, this as it starts to to grow within the audience, I started to change things. I was at that point, Chris Holbrook was at the head of the ship, and he had a lot of success at HBO prior to Starz, so he was prepared for it and having the right team around you is everything. You know what I'm saying? That in order to facilitate being successful again, like being a good judge of character would be detrimental to anyone's success because you got to allow these things to be in other people's responsibilities of getting them done. And Chris, as we first started, we was going that I had to do all of the marketing stuff. Television shows make stars. Feature films require stars because they're going to make the bulk of the money in 2 weekends. You know what I'm saying? So the gradual process of the show growing in audience and each year the different marketing campaigns that were implemented to allow it to grow to a different demographic and a bigger audience every time is, I think, a huge contribution of why it grew that way. But now I have the layout. I have a whole program of how I actually done it. Because I've done it, I've kept everything. So I've been able to see the outline of what works and what wasn't so effective.
So walk through that strategy with me, if you will, especially on the marketing side. What have you learned along the way about growing this franchise and how the marketing works?
What I didn't see when watching television, because I was enjoying the program and the storytelling process, is I didn't understand that it's coming the same time period every year, so the same things are going on that are attracting the most eyeballs. So like NBA playoffs are coming, so you're gonna need to have commercials running in this spot. You're gonna need things happening at these different. The only things that I'm afraid of are live sporting events and just live events that are one-offs, like award shows. I'll move the program. I'll stop them from airing the program to come on a week after. Delay the airing of the actual, because it's premium. You're creating 10 feature films. That line that was clear between television actors and film actors, that's blurred now. That's getting blurred because the
Yeah.
premium cable is providing the production money to allow these to be 8 to 10 feature films. The quality is allowing you to have Academy Award winning actors involved in television. Like you see Forrest Whitaker in Godfather of Harlem. You know, the example of that. And you know, I'm only comfortable with plugging Godfather of Harlem because I'm working with the writer showrunner on a feature film right now. So,
And so now you're bringing in big talent for this first spinoff of Power with Mary J. Blige, Method Man. These are the hip hop royalty like yourself. How are you able to sell them on your vision for expanding the Power franchise?
well, I think my core audience in 2003 were people in college experiencing adult living for the first time. They party at every available moment, and those people are now committed to things, even if they weren't the type of person to commit. They have so much fun that they have responsibilities. They have kids. They have new things that came into their lives, right? So that audience, my core audience, is not going to the nightclub every day. They're grown. They're who I'm talking to, negotiating to do the deal. You know, those are the people that my material resonated the strongest to. And Mary J. Blige and Method Man are in that boat. Like, these are my stars. These are the guys that I'm looking at them and excited about music culture and art before I can even get off or get good enough for people to identify with what I was doing at that point. And to be able to have them participate and be in the project now, it's almost a dream sequence. It's exciting.
That's great.
And
That's great.
I don't see the limitations. I feel like, look, even Power Book 2, calling Power Book 2 Ghosts, and it's Power again. It starts 72 hours after what you've seen last. So you see the everyone's response to the loss of Ghost, the different things, and how they have to adjust. You know, and having Tariq have 1 foot in the university and 1 foot in the street changes the show. You know, it changes it because he has to be in a university in order to receive his inheritance. He has to go through a certain level of schooling to do that, and then he has to get the money that he can get together to help get his mom out of jail for something that he's done. You know, so the intensity is still there, but it changes the demographic of people that would be interested in it. It may bring a younger demographic into the Power world.
Speaking of which, we have an audience question. Since Power Book 2 is set in the present day, does he foresee do you foresee the characters living through the pandemic in future episodes? Will that be reflected in the story?
Well, there's some creative choices that Courtney, because she's the writer showrunner of the show, like that. Because I've been with her of the show the entire time, people get confused at points. I'm not the creator of Power. Courtney is the creator. Now, I did feed her the information for her to write it and to lay it into these formats that she had. And she's really, really talented. Like picking and choosing. Like we'll have communications like me and you are having right now, and she'll go, "Wait, say that again," and it'll land in the material, but to her discretion where it does. You know, and creatively, like when you say the pandemic and stuff like that, I want to see these things too, but the street don't stop because of the pandemic. The drug dealers did not go outside because the coronavirus is outside. You see what I'm saying? Like there's some people that there's certain demographics of people who will not adjust based on something that they can't see. That's like the flu is outside. Okay, the flu's always been outside. Now that second wave of the pandemic is going to be the corona, the flu, corona and flu coming back at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause it's going to be
Yeah.
both of them. Yeah, and it's going to be flu season. You know, so the chances of you having a cold in those time periods are a lot higher. So the chances of corona moving around easier is going to be a lot higher also. You know, so that's
Got it.
what they were considering that second wave of corona. But you'll
So
see it.
you were
I think it's
I'm
really
sorry, I
important
didn't interrupt.
to put things into the storytelling that are actually happening so people feel it, like they're affected by it. They know because they went through that. There's no one who didn't go through that, you know, the coronavirus, but in their different ways that everyone experienced a different version of corona. Yeah.
Sure. So you were talking earlier about the importance of a team and having the right people around you. I know that's something you addressed in your recent book. And so I'm curious, I mean, on the one hand, you've got this massive TV operation. There's got to be like, over 8 or 9 shows at this point. You're also doing so much else outside of just television. How do you manage it all? What is your management philosophy? Because you're spinning a lot of different plates.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. You know,
Hmm.
when I exercise the whistle while you work concept, so I only involve myself in things that I'm passionate about. This is why I could take 17,000 in the beginning. You know, and I went through. I just wanted to make it at that point, to make the show. You know, and after it got going and the publicity and promoting it, and it started to grow and grow and grow, it was always an opportunity for me to be paid for what I had already done when the time showed up for me to do the overall deal. You know, so what I wasn't compensated for in the beginning, Stars absolutely took care of me. You know, when we got to that point, because it was like, okay, it's already tested and proven. There was no risk involved for them at that point. You know, and there's no problem. We create a team effort that will continuously win. Like, you know, even the CEO Jeff, he goes, Stars is premium women, and there's a lot of criteria that people are not thinking when he thinks premium women. Even the attractive man and lead is premium women. A different versions of what the premium woman would want to look at or be interested in different ways. So it's a lot. That's a broad stroke saying premium woman. You know, like it's the diversity. I think is the biggest thing that stands out about Stars.
Well, when you're talking about marketing to women, when you're talking about marketing to diverse audiences, do you have some unique insights about reaching those audience segments as opposed to, everybody out there? Is there something about those groups that you've got marketing insights into?
Look at hip hop culture in general, right? Hip hop music is black music, right? It's black culture, hip hop in general, but the consumers of it are middle America. They have to get in the car and be driven to the mall to get in trouble on the weekend because there's nothing in the backyard but a deer. It's exciting for them to understand what's going on in the cities, and they understand the slang, they understand everything else about our culture, like that's going on around them through the music in different ways. They become hip to these things. They know all of the dances. They know everything about music and entertainment in that way. And to think about it like in the easiest form, like I done my first film project was Get Rich or Die Trying. It was a feature film about my life story, and people thought it would be easy to play yourself, but it's difficult for you to move from emotional situations you've been in to something light-hearted and when you're not a trained actor at that point. So it wasn't so easy for me to perform that, but at that point, Get Rich or Die Trying, I had the same production crew involved in that project that Eminem had with 8 Mile. And Eminem's story, 8 Mile, is an African American story with a white lead. Because hip hop music is black music, Eminem being the lead of the actual show and who he is. This is how no one credits him for it, but this is why hip hop grows as fast as it grows. Because it's a
Mhm.
point where people see where they fit. into it. Like when people, the audience that was actually purchasing the music sees it and it's cool, and it's like we've had things prior to that, like Vanilla Ice and other guys that weren't quite creditable artists. You know what I'm saying? M, the way he's homegrown, like out of Detroit, off the bottom, the same way I'm saying I'm off the bottom in South Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And this is why no one ever questions why he took a liking to it, or fell in love with the music, and or why he does it so well. You know what I'm saying? He's arguably the best rap artist, or one of the best rap artists we've seen. And I can say that, and I'm more successful than a lot of the people that would argue. You know, and just in concept, when M's crew that produced 8 Mile produced Get Rich or Die Trying, what we ran into was, because there was aggressive tones in my story, they would say that it was well, street or gangster, that imagery was in it. So they said, this is premium urban. So the plan that they originally created for 8 Mile was to launch to 3,200 theaters. Mine was the same, 3,200 theaters. And my record, Give It to Die Trying, sold to the same audience that Eminem sold to with 8 Mile. But when it came time to launch the film, they launched my film to premium urban space, which was 1,700 theaters instead of the 3,200 theaters that was planned initially. And I'm going, wait, but the areas that you felt like this movie wouldn't be interested in, those are the people that bought my music that made it sell 13 million records and made it the largest debut on hip hop album. So why would you leave that out? Like, and it's just, it's just the key art is telling them who should be interested. And when I'm in the key art solo, it says that it's for African American, the male, and that premium urban demo that they carved out was where that should go. And when they saw M in 8 Mile, it said that it should go everywhere. This is why even when Denzel Washington is doing American Gangster, you see Russell Crowe equal in billing next to Denzel Washington on the poster boards. So it goes to those 3,200 theaters, because if you left even Denzel Washington by himself, it would say, maybe this is premium urban.
Got it. So we've talked about TV marketing, movie marketing. You're still going to be active in the music world, right? New music going to come out. Do you approach that from a different strategic viewpoint?
Absolutely. Like, hip hop culture loves things that are damaged. They love people that are already broken from the experience. It's like, look what he's been through. He's been through all of this. Oh my God. And then you go, but listen to how it sounds. It sounds so beautiful. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things,
Yeah.
even when you look at Cardi B, when you look at the new artists, they come from rough backgrounds, man, like really rough. And this is why the things that they say for shock value go over pretty well. You know, it's like, oh, it's crazy. She's crazy. This is why. The thing that doesn't quite tie into that well is for you to be able to continue success. So the success, staying in a consistent, successful position, makes it a little more difficult for you to appear as damaged as the rest of the group. Unless, there's some other things that go on. There's little signs that pop up that indicate that you're still a little rough around the edges at that point. So you have to make these things for the people to identify and understand. You have to write it from a different perspective. I can't write the 50 Cent record the same way I did in 2003. Got to do a different tones, different energy, and still capture things that I want to capture in it, but it has to be done the right way.
Got it. You mentioned shock value, and I got to tell you, there's probably not a week that goes by where I don't hear some headline about what 50 Cent said on IG this week or on Twitter next week. How do you use social media when it comes to getting the 50 Cent brand out there? And I assume you use it also to promote your other ventures too.
I do. I use it to entertain. I'm an entertainer. So, to entertain at its core, I believe, is to provoke emotions. So love me or hate me, just don't not care about me at all. That's all I care about, is you not caring about me at all. And at points there's it's interesting you mentioned Instagram, because it's not growing. I get coverage
Hmm.
24/7. I'm all on. I think that the aggressive side of my brand is allowing them to help prevent me from not growing on Instagram. And it's
Hmm.
yeah, I really feel like that. I don't care because it doesn't stop me from doing anything. It's just the way once you get to a certain level of audience, you can't just present yourself the way you like to present yourself. Their personal interest in how the Instagram itself is presented, like will get in the way. And then it's just you have to just put a picture of yourself and just say something simple under it. Like with the bigger artists that have a lot more, or the people who are concentrating on Instagram are just when they get to the point that I'm at, they don't comment on current events at the same time. They just speak about put their whatever they're advertising and marketing up and just something basic under it. You know?
But the thing is, nowadays in this climate, you hear about a lot of people as famous as yourself sometimes where they say the wrong thing and the backlash is huge. It becomes what they call an example of cancel culture. Do you ever fear? I get that it doesn't matter, love me or hate me, that's as long as they're paying attention. But you could take it to a place where it really could damage you as a brand or your businesses.
Well, I don't believe I can be canceled. See, because when I do something positive, that my name is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, right? Rap mogul, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Uh, Television, when they talk about new television shows, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, right? As soon as something comes out that any tones of negative energy, they go rapper 50 Cent, right? Now look,
Ah.
as far as rappers are concerned, what do I have to do to be canceled? When I just told you that the culture loves things that are damaged. They gotta go to jail to get canceled. They gotta shoot a girl. You see what I'm saying? They gotta do something
Yeah.
extremely bad to be canceled. And as far as I think they're so unfair too to the people that are canceled. But some of them have worked all their lives to position themselves the way they are. And you're saying one thing that you said that someone didn't like, they rally. We'll be talking about the organizations. We're talking about people who have organizations and whatever their preferences. You're a heterosexual male. Is that your traditional choices? You like women? Okay. If you say something about someone who chooses something different, there's organizations set up to create they'll start sending things around to get signatures and stuff like that and build. Tell me this, as a heterosexual male, who's going to send the thing around to tap signatures based on your feelings? There's no one.
Yeah.
There's no organization. So what you're saying is certain demographics that have been conditioned because they've been taken advantage of in the earlier stages. Now they were once inferior, they are now superior because we have no organization. The biggest target is just heterosexual males in general. And when they point out the things that are wrong from the actual female side of things, like things that would be you hear stories over and over about people that say they drove from Omaha. They drove from some strange place in a car with nothing to Hollywood, and they were going to make it. What do you think they were going to use as an asset when they got there with nothing,
Right.
male or female?
What's the asset?
Right? You went there with nothing. So you go on when people have look at this, 10% of business would alleviate all extreme poverty, right? And I did this. I partnered with the United Nations World Food Program to provide a meal with every energy drink that I sold during the SK Energy because I wanted to promote conscious capitalism. Right? Because people don't have instinctively, people are not conditioned to give away things that they work for, right? And I understand that, like I get it. But look, invisible partners, like if you created partner that you just had 10% of your company or you just gave it to a cause, right? And from the beginning, how much would we how much would we change things if Google did that? How much would we change if, and whether it was for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, right? What are the wrong reasons when the results are so much change? But the top guys, the leading shareholders for the major corporations around here, if you took 10% of what they have, it wouldn't change 1% of anything that goes on in their lives. It would still be the same lifestyle their entire life, right? So it would change all. We wouldn't even have a homeless issue, but it just wouldn't be like this is why this is the fight is about. The major issue, the things you see around the big fight is between Democrats and Republicans, right?
Yep.
And then the fear is if you put the wrong person there, who do they hurt? They go, oh, okay, no. They're just so focused on helping the poor that they're killing the rich. They're hurting the rich from taking things from them financially, and wealth taxes and new taxes, new things to take away from them. Versus, I've watched people who absolutely do not agree with Donald Trump's tactics. It will still be a complete Donald Trump supporter because they go, what about the other side? Do we get away from bad to terrible? Do we go from bad to terrible? Like, this is really what they're dealing with. And this is when you're in a circle where people are really financially in a good space. You will feel that energy from it, you know?
I'm curious though. It seems to me nowadays in this heavy political climate, some celebrities like yourself get out there and they're very political and some don't. How do you navigate that? How political do you get? Do you talk about candidates or do you make a decision to just stand back?
I make the decision to not be so vocal about the candidate. You know what I'm saying? I try not to get so political that I'm not entertaining. I'm an entertainer. You know, like if I get out there, if I was a part of politics or a politician has some political aspirations and stuff like that, I would be more a part of it. Like you see Kanye, things that he's doing. That's almost. I wonder if Trump is not reelected, does he go to jail for tampering with?
Who knows?
Because it feels like he received a bailout, $2 million bailout for his company, and his
Hmm.
lawyers from his what's the name is setting up his Kanye, his campaign. So it would be and one of the weaker points for Trump, just the way he positioned himself, and one of the weaker points would be for him would be the black vote. So to have Kanye come in, somebody's going to vote for him. Whoever that is probably someone who wouldn't vote for Trump based on some of the things that he's done publicly, and it just creates noise. You know, it just makes
I hear you.
noise. Like there's a legitimate attempt at winning anything at that point, like winning an election. It's just being in it. And I don't know to whose benefit it is, but to have someone from some of Trump's lawyers helping you get in, I don't know what that means after. I know it means nothing when Trump wins again.
Yeah.
Trump wins again. You're my guy. You did what I told you to do. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Huh. Okay. So, getting back to entertainment, you've conquered TV, you've conquered music, movies. Is there some piece of the entertainment world out there that you got your eye on that it's like, that's next? I'm going after that.
You know what? I just want to do more of what I've already done. I think when you're in music culture and entertainment, you'll find extreme interest in film and television. Because the other portion of you can't escape. I don't care where you go. You go on vacation, you're gonna relax, you're gonna go somewhere. I guarantee you, it's gonna be some sort of film, television, or music involved. So at that point, you're doing research if you're involved in the business in it. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll come across something that you didn't really, maybe you didn't have enough interest in it to sit and watch it when you were in your regular life and regular time. Because you're on vacation, you just lay back and just let the television play and see something you didn't see before. you know, and I will always have new ideas or new things that I get passionate about, want to do it, but it's always in the same frame of entertainment. You know, it's a broad enough frame for you to occupy you for a lifetime.
Definitely, definitely. Well, 50, that's all the questions I have. Appreciate you taking the time out and talking to me today. And for all those listening in, stay tuned. We're going to have more with Variety's Entertainment Marketing Summit.